Alright, working on the nitrous kit today. So, this is the nitrous solenoid. There's a nut down here. I took that nut off. This is a magnet piece. You slide that magnet piece off. And then there's a shaft that screws inside here. So what I did, I took the nut off this one, and I doubled the nuts up and tightened them together, because you have to twist that out. They make a tool for it, but I don't have the tools, so that's what I do. And I just cleaned it out real good, just blew it out with just mouth air, and it started working. It's working now. But now the bottle only had like 800 pounds of pressure in it, so pressure is what to keep it from opening. So what I've done now is I've hooked up the bottle heater and I'm getting some pressure in the bottle. And if you see there, we're at about 920. I'm gonna see if it'll get a little hotter. I'd like to get it up to about 950. I think this thing shuts off at 950. It's got one of these things on it, and it's hooked to a relay. This has got to reach so much pressure that you adjust right here in the front. Then it turns the bottle heater off. It's probably gonna run my battery dead, but I don't care. I just put it on the jump box. But yeah, I'm gonna get that pressure up. It's about 950-ish. And I'm gonna see if it'll work. I would see if it'll work right now, but then that'll bleed off some of the pressure. But I'm just bypassing it right here. All you gotta do now to make it work. This goes to the fog light right here. When the fog light's on, but I'm just bypassing it. Well, I had this hooked up to where it's staying on the ground and it come off, so that's why it didn't come on. But so I got to ground this out, which this typically would go through the fuel pressure safety switch and through the wide open throttle switch, blah blah blah. But I just had it kind of wedged in here. But anyway, I'm gonna let the bottle pressure get up before I test it any. And I put this rag here because some fuel is probably going to come out, because I had to turn the key on to turn the bottle heater on. So yeah, we'll see what happens. All right, I'm just going to tap it. But bottle's at 950. Let's see what happens. Well, it worked a few times, now it ain't working again. So, yeah, that solenoid shot, or the plunger in it needs changed. And I'm going to have to look up online to see if they even make a replacement plunger for that. So, dang it. Well, there's that, guys. Did not fix it. Okay, so there's a few different things that'll cause these things to stick closed and not open. Number one, you're not getting enough voltage. We're getting plenty of voltage, so that's not it. As you could hear when it stopped working, you could still hear the fuel pump solenoid click. And they're on the same wire. Well, yeah, they both go in together, and then they go into a bigger gauge wire, like a 10, 12 gauge wire, and then they go straight to the battery and straight to ground on that side. But another thing, the voltage, plenty of voltage, the magnet that the wires operate to open it just got weak, or there's a little, I don't know what it's made out of, plastic, Teflon, I don't know, but there's a little plunger that comes back down on the seat, and the seat's kind of got sharp edges on it, and it hits that, and it creates a groove in that, and when the groove gets too thick, it catches on the groove. But I'm not sure exactly which one of those issues it is, but I called Nitrous Express, and they said that if I send it in, they would service it for a fee, etc. But I don't like the solenoids encased in those, and the solenoids have screw holes on the bottom of them. So what I'm going to do is that bracket I've made, I'm just going to take them out of here and screw them directly to that bracket. So they sell the Mainline
Nitrous Solenoids, which are pretty much the same size, but I think the orifice is a little bit smaller, so it really only goes up to 200. They advertise it as 250, but the hole in the solenoid itself is only big enough to flow a 200 jet, so I don't see how they can advertise that as a 250 shot. You have to put a .136 jet in there, which is a huge jet, but the orifice is only like a .078, and a 78 size jet's only good for 200 horsepower. But anyway, I found a Zex, Z-E-X, I guess that's how you say that, nitrous solenoid on Jegs for like 85 bucks, so I just went ahead and ordered that. And when I get that in, we'll install it and we'll do some testing.
Alright, my Zex nitrous solenoid came in today. I thought that was a small solenoid like this one. Apparently it's not. And that was just based on looking at the pictures. But anyway, I screwed it in down here. I just drilled new holes in my bracket there. This nitrous solenoid, it's good to flow 400 horsepower. This one, I'm not sure, but the fuel jet's always smaller, so this one will probably flow that much too. I'm not sure, but I'm not ever going to spray over 250 through the stock intake. I hear it don't distribute well to the back, but anyway. Yep, see, like they got holes in them, and those are little screw holes. These little ones, they were a size 8 standard. They make a 10-8-6-4 standard too, but this was a size 8 standard, and this one was a size 10 standard bolt. So I had to run back to Ace and get some more bolts. And I could have swore on Jegs, they said this was an 1/8 inch MPT in and out. It's not. The back's a 1/4 inch, so I'm going to look, and I'm pretty sure I don't have one, but I'm going to have to get a 4AN to 1/4 inch MPT to put in here for the nitrous line. When you put these on, make sure you put them on. Now the camera stopped on me. When you put these on here, make sure the out is facing towards where the nitrous is going to go, and then the in is going to be from like your bottle, and this is going to be from your fuel pressure regulator. It says in and in. So now I'm just going to wire this to the blue line. And it don't matter which way you put these, positive or negative or positive, it don't matter on either solenoid. It just energizes this and creates a magnet and pulls that plunger up inside of them. But now it is good to have, I don't know if you can see in there or not, this one's a filtered. In your in, you might want to use a filtered so debris don't get in your solenoid and stick it open. If you stick open your nitrous solenoid and your fuel solenoid shuts off, you're spraying nitrous in the motor. You will blow it up. You'll lean it out and blow it up. If it's vice versa, it's not really that bad. You just flood the motor up. You just flood the motor out. But one thing you got to watch out there is you could hydrolock the motor if you put too much fuel in it. Which I had a 200 jet in the LT1, and I was going down the track and it flooded out all the way down the track because nitrous solenoid didn't come on. You know, now that I think back on that, I think that's when it started going out. But anyway, it's fixed now. We just need that 1/4 inch to 4AN. So we can go all the way up to a 6AN on this and flow a lot of nitrous. But like I said, we're never going to go over 250, so let's wire this up and we'll put it back on the card. Alright, and it's all wired up. And I use these little solder things. Alright, so the way these work, you hook a relay to this or whatever. You can just hook a relay to it, but I use a, where'd I put it? Yeah, that acts as my relay. It's a progressive controller. You can just change, you know, how it ramps in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 seconds, whatever, whatnot. So you have your main power. It comes in the bottom. This is how I've got it wired up. You can do this for a ground through here or whatever. So you got your main power through the bottom. You got a power and a ground on the sides. So this is your main power source straight from the battery. And now if there is not power and there is not ground on these side ones, then current is flowing through here, which I took that one out because it's not using it. Current is flowing through here. Now once you activate this with a power on this side or a ground on this side, or vice versa, then it switches the current to here from the top to the bottom. And it cuts this current off, the middle and the bottom. So there's the main power to the battery, that black one. This green one, it goes up to the power both solenoids. And then this one, it goes to my, this is your switch. This is what your switch will run to. I run mine through the fog lights. And then this white one is the ground. Now that ground one, it goes up. There's a few different ways you can do this, but that ground wire goes to the fuel pressure safety switch, and then it goes through the wide open throttle switch. So if the fuel pressure safety switch don't see 40, 45 pounds, it won't ground this. And if the wide open throttle switch isn't hit, then it won't ground this either. So, and then the other solenoid, I just got grounded to the frame of the car, the ground side of the solenoid. So I got the ground controlling the relay, the fog light power controlling the relay, and the ground for the relay controlled off the fuel pressure safety switch and the wide open throttle switch. And then I just got the other side of the solenoid running to ground. And then the power goes to this wire, but it won't hit power up here until the relay sees power and ground here first, and then it'll send it from here to there. But yeah, that's how I've got it wired in. And there we go. It's all hooked back up. It's wet inside there. It rains sideways. When it rains sideways, water comes through that cowl. It gets over on everything, but it's all sealed up. But yeah, it come a good storm. It flooded the yard. It's even flooded in the garage a little. But yeah. So right here, my fog light wire that activates the relay, which my relay is that progressive controller. It acts as the relay. I put a quick connect there because I had to cut the wire to take all that off last time. So I just taped it up a little bit. Did a terrible job, but yeah, there was a little bit of metal exposed. I don't think there was enough because it had that cover on there. I don't think there was enough to hit anything, but better safe than sorry. And then, yeah, got the main power wire we discussed earlier, the main ground wire, and then the ground wire for the relay is right here. And I'm just going to let this hang out for right now because when I get that 1/4 inch to 4 AN and hook the nitrous line up, we're going to do some testing. Now I could test it right now and just feel for a click, but I want to check it for leaks, make sure it's not leaking, and then I want to check and make sure that it works with pressure. So this right here, I can just turn the fog lights on and then just ground this out anywhere and it'll kick on at this point, because that's a straight ground wire there. But yeah, once I get the piece back there to test it with, we'll do some testing on it and make sure it works, make sure it don't leak. That's the number one thing. I'll take this piece off, I'll hook the line up to it, I'll turn the bottle on, and then make sure nothing comes out right there. And I'll get the pressure up on the bottle again, make sure nothing comes out right there. And then I'll turn it on and hit it a few times to make sure it comes on every single time. And if it does, we're set. But yeah, that's it. I was going to go racing this weekend. I still need to get an alignment. It's hard it's hard to get that stuff done when you work the same hours them people work. So, but looking at the forecast, it's supposed to rain all weekend. It's supposed to storm all weekend. So I'm not even sure if it needs an alignment that bad. I mean, I drove it home and I let go of the steering wheel and it went straight, but the steering wheel is off a little, and you can see that wheel's turned, I don't know, just enough to stick out of the fender. I mean, it's off a little, but it ain't real bad. I could probably still race like that. If it don't rain tomorrow, no, we just won't be able to spray nitrous. At least get a motor pass in and see what it does. But you gotta change tires. So yeah, if it don't rain tomorrow, I'll take it and see what it does on the motor anyway. I'm gonna have to order at piece. It's gonna take 2 or 3 days to come in. But yeah, you guys like and subscribe, and I'm gonna guess this. In this weather, I think this thing's gonna run a 13 flat. In good weather, I think it'll run a 12.5 on nitrous. And I think it's gonna run a high 10 or a low 11 on a 200 shot. But those are my estimates. If you guys got any guesstimates, hit them in the comments, because it's coming close. We'll be spraying nitrous and running this thing before too long. Have a great day.